For most of human history, money has been the foundation of civilization. It has shaped our economies, our politics, and even our identities. Yet for all its power, money is an illusion, a shared belief that a small token or digital number carries value. But what happens when that belief disappears? When money stops meaning anything, societies are forced to confront what they truly value, and what remains when the symbols of wealth lose their power. This is not a hypothetical question. It has happened many times before. Each time, the collapse of money revealed not only an economic failure but a moral and social reckoning. Money is a story, perhaps the most successful story humans have ever told. It began as something tangible, metal coins, shells, and stones exchanged for goods. But its true strength was never in the material itself. It was in the trust people placed in it. That trust allowed civilizations to expand beyond barter. It allowed trade, specialization, and planning for the future. But it also created a delicate balance, because money has no intrinsic worth. Its value depends entirely on collective faith. When that faith is broken, money loses its function as a store of value, a medium of exchange, and a measure of worth. The result is chaos, not only economic but psychological. The earliest example of a society facing this collapse can be found in ancient China. During the Song dynasty in the 11th century, China became the first nation to issue government-backed paper money, a remarkable innovation that replaced cumbersome metal coins. At first, it worked. Trade flourished and the empire prospered. But over time, the state printed more notes than it could back with metal reserves. As confidence eroded, the value of paper money collapsed. By the end of the dynasty, the currency was nearly worthless. Farmers returned to barter and merchants hoarded goods instead of selling them. The lesson was clear. Once trust in money breaks, people retreat to tangible assets, things that hold real physical value. The most famous example of money losing meaning came in the aftermath of World War I. In 1923, Germany's economy imploded under the weight of war reparations, political instability, and runaway debt. To pay its bills, the government printed more marks. At first, it was a temporary measure. Then it became unstoppable. Prices began doubling every few days. A loaf of bread that cost 1 mark in 1919 cost hundreds of billions by the end of 1923. Workers were paid twice a day so they could spend their wages before prices rose again. People carried banknotes in wheelbarrows. Children used them as toys. Wallpaper was cheaper to print than to buy. Money had ceased to perform its purpose. It was still paper, but it no longer carried belief. When money stops meaning anything, trade itself breaks down. People begin to seek value elsewhere, in goods, in foreign currencies, or in barter. In Weimar Germany, farmers refused to sell food for paper money, leading to shortages and hunger even amid abundance. Inflation became more than an economic condition. It became a psychological event, a collapse of trust not just in the currency, but in the state and the future. Nearly a century later, the same story repeated in different forms. In the 2000s, Zimbabwe's government began printing money to finance its spending and pay debts. Hyperinflation followed. Prices doubled every day. By 2008, the government issued a $100 trillion note, and even that could barely buy a loaf of bread. Money became a symbol of absurdity. The numbers grew, but the meaning vanished. In Venezuela, decades later, the same pattern emerged. As oil revenues collapsed and political mismanagement deepened, the government printed more bolivars. The result was catastrophic inflation. People stopped counting prices in local currency and turned to US dollars or cryptocurrencies instead. In both cases, the official economy dissolved into a shadow system. Markets moved from government-issued money to barter and informal exchange. People traded what they had for what they needed: food, fuel, medicine. When money stops meaning anything, Survival becomes the only currency. When a currency collapses, the process follows a familiar pattern. First comes expansion, the creation of new money to solve short-term problems. Governments print money to pay debts, fund wars, or stimulate growth. At first, the effects seem positive. There is more liquidity, more spending, more apparent prosperity. Then comes distortion. Prices begin to rise slowly at first, then faster. People start to lose faith in the stability of money. They spend faster, hoard goods, and demand higher wages. The feedback loop accelerates. Finally comes collapse. The currency no longer functions as a reliable measure of value. Prices lose all coherence. In extreme cases, new currencies emerge spontaneously: foreign money, digital tokens, even cigarettes or bottles of alcohol. At that moment, money ceases to be a tool of trust and becomes an object of ridicule. When money loses meaning, the effects go beyond economics. The very structure of society begins to unravel. In stable times, money provides a sense of order. It allows people to measure effort, reward, and ambition. It ties the individual to the collective through shared exchange. But when that structure collapses, so does the moral fabric built around it. In Weimar Germany, artists and writers describe the period as one of moral exhaustion. When money could no longer be trusted, neither could institutions. People turned to extremes, to ideologies, to charismatic leaders, to promises of renewal. In Zimbabwe and Venezuela, inflation eroded not only savings but also identity. Generations who had believed in the value of hard work found their life's earnings reduced to nothing. The middle class, the stabilizing force of any society, was hollowed out. When money stops meaning anything, so too does the link between work and reward, between effort and outcome. The social contract dissolves. Every collapse of money produces the same instinctive response: a return to the tangible. People begin to value what cannot be printed: food, land, energy, skills. Barter systems reappear, gold and silver return to circulation, and foreign currencies become a refuge. This shift reveals something fundamental about human economies. Even when money fails, trade continues. Human beings still need to exchange value. They simply find new mediums to do so. In this sense, money is not value itself but a vessel for it. When one vessel breaks, another is found. Modern economies believe they have solved this problem. Central banks monitor inflation, adjust interest rates, and manage supply through complex systems. The global financial network has tools that ancient Rome or Weimar Germany could not imagine. Yet the underlying truth remains: the value of money still depends on belief. When that belief wavers, when people doubt the soundness of governments, banks, or digital systems, the fragility of modern finance becomes clear. Even in advanced economies, inflation erodes trust quietly. When savings lose value faster than they can grow, when wages no longer keep up with prices, the meaning of money begins to fade slowly, imperceptibly, until the system itself must adapt. So what truly happens when money stops meaning anything? At first, there is panic. Then there is adaptation. Humans are remarkably resilient in the face of economic collapse. They rebuild meaning out of necessity. They rediscover value not in symbols but in substance. The disappearance of monetary meaning exposes a deeper truth: that economies are not built on paper or digits, but on human cooperation, the willingness to trust, to trade, to believe in the future. When money collapses, that cooperation must be rebuilt from the ground up. Money is both a tool and a mirror. It reflects our collective confidence, our institutions, and our faith in continuity. When that mirror cracks, it does not destroy value. It merely reveals where value truly lies. In every collapse, from Rome to Weimar, from Zimbabwe to Venezuela, money's disappearance did not end human exchange. It only stripped it down to its essence. When money stops meaning anything, we are reminded that meaning itself is the real currency, the belief that something has worth because we agree it does. As long as that belief can be rebuilt, societies can recover. But the moment it is lost entirely, civilization must start again from first principles. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe. History has the answers. I'll show you where to look.